Texas is now coming with new hot news, this time new legislation that will literally change the dynamics of the feds and states forever. From struggling with a huge number of illegal immigrants crossing the borders to locking horns with the feds themselves, Governor Greg Abbott's been fighting fiercely. And what is the end result? We all know that the state's been navigating a tough track, but hold on to your hats because they've just turbocharged through a major breakthrough. This ideological drag race has had both sides gripping the wheel, neither ready to ease off the gas. The governor has been dedicated to fortifying the border and shielding Texans from the risk that come along with illegal immigration. On the flip side, the Biden administration's been cruising down a different lane, rolling out policies that, to many Texans, seem to throw a wrench in the works. But now, Texas is waving the checkered flag, having raced to a significant triumph. A fresh bill's hit the pavement and is set to supercharge Texas's self-defense capabilities. The Senate is riding a tidal wave with a bill that's called the Laken-Riley Act. This piece of legislation is revving its engines to put the brakes on undocumented immigrants caught in the headlights for theft or burglary. Steering this charge are Senators Katie Britt from Alabama and Senator Ted Budd from North Carolina, and let me tell you, they mean business. They're calling on federal immigration enforcers to shift gears and chase down these alleged troublemakers. But wait, there's more to the story. It's all about the name of this act. It's a heartfelt tribute to Laken Riley, a promising nursing student whose dreams were cut short on the University of Georgia campus. The prime suspect? Jose Antonio Ibarra, an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela who slipped through ICE's fingers even after a run-in with the law in New York. Before facing felony murder charges, Ibarra's rap sheet included a child endangerment arrest in New York and a shoplifting citation in Georgia with his brother Diego, as chronicled by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. That is why, in the wake of the heartbreaking loss of Laken Riley, Senator Katie Britt is revving up the call for a full-throttle crackdown on loose immigration controls with unwavering determination. Britt is driving home the urgency of this no-nonsense bill, convinced that it's the key to empowering immigration and customs enforcement to detain and deport law-breaking undocumented individuals, putting the brakes on the kind of gut-wrenching sorrows that shatters American families. She's spotlighting the tragedy as a stark warning sign, pointing directly to the fallout from the Biden administration's open gate stance. In harmony with Britt's call to action, Senator Budd is revving up support for states to take the wheel, empowering them to defend their citizens from the fallout of the administration's open border policy by seeking justice in federal courts. This act is shifting into high gear, empowering states to chase down federal officials who drop the ball on immigration law enforcement or who veer off the legal track themselves. If caught and convicted, these individuals face a pit stop in detention until they're given the boot out of the country. The goal? To prevent a rerun of their misdeeds or a dive into deeper criminal waters. It's all about ensuring a level playing field and safeguarding our community's peace of mind. It is the Senate's turbocharged twin of a bill previously unleashed in the House of Georgia's GOP Representative Mike Collins. It's a full-throttle push for immigration and customs enforcement to accelerate their efforts and crack down on those cruising in the US without their papers, dabbling in the dark arts of theft, burglary, larceny, or shoplifting. Senator Britt is firing on all cylinders, applauding the drive shown by Representative Mike Collins and Senator Ted Budd in rallying behind this pivotal cause. Budd is adamant about maintaining the rule of the road at the state level, putting a stop sign to the negative ripple effects of unchecked immigration. And Britt is putting the pedal to the metal, urging Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to race the Laken-Riley Act onto the Senate floor without delay. Britt's laser-focused on fortifying our communities against the hazards of criminal opportunists who exploit soft immigration policies. But now, strap in and watch carefully, because the vote on the Laken-Riley Act wasn't just a smooth cruise down the highway. The political lanes were clearly marked, with every Republican revving up a yes for the bill, while the Democrats parked their 170 no's on the opposite side. But here's a twist in the plot. 37 Democrats switched gears, joining the Republican convoy in a rare display of cross-party unity for the greater good of public safety and law enforcement. The social media landscape post-vote was like a racetrack after a high-octane race with a House Judiciary GOP hot takes. They put the Democrats on blast, accusing them of turning a blind eye to public safety. They even threw a spotlight on Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, demanding to know his position in the high-stakes Laken-Riley Act debate. In the heated House debate, Representative Jerry Nadler of New York didn't hold back, slamming the bill as a Republican tactic to cast immigrants in a villainous light. He's revving up the rhetoric, painting it as a political stunt to stir up a storm over immigration for their own scoreboard. He accused the majority of using a tragedy as a political lever, rather than coming together in the solemn remembrance of Lake's tragic passing. Nadler charged that the Republicans had cobbled together measures for disparate bills, aiming their sights squarely at immigrants for a quick political win in an election season. He stressed that this tactic was a serious misstep, one that sidestepped the genuine challenges at the border. The press release rolling out this legislation puts it in overdrive. States get the green light to launch lawsuits for injunctive relief against Uncle Sam when immigration maneuvers, such as parole or violations of detention requirements, have detrimental effects on the state or its citizens. This clause is all about giving states the tools to make the federal government tune up its border security game. This bill isn't just about putting ICE in the driver's seat to slap detainees on illegal migrants linked to theft or burglary. It's turbocharging states with the legal power to sue the feds if immigration causes harm to home turf or its people. It's crystal clear that immigration policy is a battleground with deep trenches dug on either side. It is deeper than you might think because Texas is gearing up with SB 4, a legislative contender that's ready to give law enforcement the green light to stop, apprehend, and detain migrants on new state charges for illegal entry. If you were thinking the Laken River Act was too demanding, then you're not ready for this one. Let me explain. The SB 4 is revving up to empower state judges to drop the hammer with quasi-deportation orders on those suspected of breaking the law. While the roadmap for SB 4's rollout is still being mapped out, the starting flag for enforcing this law is set to wave in March 2024. It's set up to put migrants in the legal hot seat for up to 2 years post-entry, widening the neck for legal action against those who have made unauthorized entry to Texas. Hold on to your hats though, because this schedule might just do a little shuffle depending on how the legal battles play out. Right after Abbott's big official bash, the first legal tango began. SB 4 was met with some serious pushback from Democratic heavyweights, the Mexican government, and a whole bunch of advocacy crews. Even the American Civil Liberties Union jumped into the ring, representing civil rights warriors in a showdown against this law. Texas is throwing down the gauntlet, claiming it has the right to call the shots on immigration matters usually reserved for Uncle Sam. They're basically trying to snatch away the federally mandated rights and due process of folks in the system, including the whole shebang of challenging deportation and seeking asylum. Governor Abbott's been stirring the pot, all right. He's been shipping off droves of migrants to places like Chicago and New York, all while telling National Guard troops and state troopers to bust out the razor wire and floating barriers and throw down the gauntlet with those trespassing arrest threats. It's a real Texas-sized showdown, folks. Now, when the spotlight turned to SB 4, White House bigwig Angelo Fernandez didn't hold back. He straight up said this bill is like going from 0 to 100 real quick and could seriously put the safety of Texas communities on the line. And let's face it, usually it's Uncle Sam's job to figure out what to do with non-citizens who break the immigration rules, not each state's sheriff. But get this, the Justice Department, responsible for initiating any legal action against Texas, decided to play it cool and stay silent on the matter. Meanwhile, this law is just the latest jab from Texas aimed at President Biden, the head honcho of the Democrats, when it comes to immigration. But here's where things get intense from Trump's perspective. Backstage at a rally in Georgia, he meets with the family of Laken-Riley. And let me tell you, he didn't hold back on expressing his sentiments. With genuine emotion, he shared poignant words about Laken-Riley, whose heartbreaking story intertwines with the bill. He is clearly blaming President Biden outright. He points fingers at a specific policy. This policy, he claims, shields illegal immigrants from deportation upon entry into the United States. According to Trump, this policy paved the way for the individual responsible for Lake's tragedy to walk free immediately upon crossing the border. Trump, amidst the buzz of the rally, takes a moment to honor Lake and her family. He recalls meeting her mother and Kim backstage, where they painted a vivid picture of Lake, the epitome of excellence, a future nurse shining brightly in every room. You can feel the depth of their loss. It is truly gut-wrenching. So it's not a matter of politics that issues like this need to be solved, and Texas is actually really trying to do something here. Because when you think about it, they've been throwing things that they think are solutions and seeing if they stick or not for a while now. But if you want to know more, then check out our channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you there.